So once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another session of Foundations with Ruma Purkayastha. Ruma ma'am has been with us, has been a mentor for Foundations since the inception, and we all know her as a very well-read ECCS specialist and a very warm face. And ma'am is here with us today to discuss how you can make sure that your parent involvement and parent engagement is very effective. And we all know, we've all discussed a couple of times that parents do pose challenges during the year. They have a certain set of expectations which may not necessarily align with the school's interest and the school's plan of action for the year. So how to deal with parents, how to make sure that they're actively involved with the student's learning journey. So with this, over to you, Ruma ma'am and Avantika.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for being here. It's good to be back, and it's good to see all of you, some very, very familiar faces. And now that I think we are halfway through the festive season, it was time to look at a few more things. Today's topic is parent engagement and involvement. And I will do a little bit of it now and maybe take up another session on this again because it's a vast topic. And I know that you have lots and lots of questions on this. So, Avantika, can you share the PPT better, please? Okay, while she's sharing, I'm going to put out a question and I'd like an answer in the chat box. Can we skip to slide 3? Yes, Avantika, can we shift to slide 3? All right, this is a question for all of you. If you could give anonymous advice to a set of parents you know about how they are raising their kids, what would you tell them? My voice is not clear, somebody is saying. You will have to, I think, put up a little bit with my hoarse voice because I've just recovered from a very bad bout of cold. Let me raise the volume of my device. Just a second. Now, is it better now? Can you hear me better? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Now, can I get a few answers quickly in the chat box on this? You're giving anonymous advice. You're looking at children and you feel whatever, how are they're raising their kids, whether it agrees with your ethos or not. What would you tell them? Daily routine, okay. All right. Something about daily routine? Anybody else? Spend quality time with them, set up a regular routine, be patient, okay? Would you need to understand their own interest? Would you agree or would you disagree with the way a parent is raising their child? How many of you feel that today, the way children are brought up today is very different from the way you have brought up? I'm sure there are several young parents in the audience too, but maybe some of the slightly older ones can answer this. Do you find in your workplace also, I'm sure some of you are young parents, some of you are not so young parents. Do you find a difference in the style of upbringing, child rearing? No? Okay, let me go on to another quick. The next question, please, Avantika. Can we go to the next one, please, quickly? All right. If you could, now, the previous one, please. If you could change one thing to make life easier for your children, I'm talking about school children, what would you do? Any one thing that if you had the power or you had the ability that to change, what would you do? Can I have at least 3 or 4 answers in the chat box? We are 167 of us, as I can see on the group. Let me at least get 4 or 5 answers. Any one thing that you could change to, which you feel will make their life easier, what would you do? Come on, it's not teach them moral values. Yes, yes, they should listen. Okay. No internet once a week, friendly atmosphere, reduced bag load, discipline. Okay, we need to have a discussion on discipline, teachers once. Learning through activities, confidence and communication. So when you say, okay, let me teach them their mother tongue, all right, very nice. Scaffolding for their growth, storytelling method, make them smile and enjoy life. Thank you. So does this mean that all of you think we need to change something in the way things are now? Do we really need to change concept teaching? I think we're doing concept teaching. Do you feel that we need to change certain things from as they exist today in our classrooms? Yes. So you are the change agents there. So you're the one who has to implement it. Next, please. Now, what do you understand by parent engagement? Now, I've given you a definition that is given. It's defined as parents and school staff working together to support and improve the learning development and health of children and adolescents. I think everybody knows this. So basically, yes, I can still see some answers coming in. More vocational teaching, integrated learning, academic pressure should be less. My dear friends, you are doing foundation years from KG to 2. There should be no academic pressure as per the new NEP. So let's look at that also. I do understand that sometimes we get carried away. Parents need to engage themselves. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about. So when we talk about parent engagement, we are basically talking about keeping them involved with what we do. There should be a program for parents so that they come to know which method we are. Yes, ma'am, I agree with you. And I will come back to it later. Yes. So basically, when we talk about parent engagement, it means that they should be involved. They should know what is happening in the school and what is happening in their class. Is it easy to get parents involved? Avantika, can we move on, please? Now, is it easy for us to get parents to get involved? Sometimes, yes, we have a variety of parents. We'll look at that at some other forum. You know, the varieties of parents are also grouped into different categories. But we're talking about parents in general. Some are very easy to get on board. Some are very critical. Some will give you a lot of advice on what you are doing because they think they know better than you. So there are all kinds of parents. Now, however, we as teachers have to deal with all kinds of parents. So our objective in any parent engagement program will be look at them as mutual partners. Our goal is the same. Try and collaborate with them. Collaboration is another word for working as a team. Understand the individuality. Now, you may turn around and tell me 40 children in a class. Each one is an individual, which means 40 plus 280 sets of other individuals that you have to deal with. Okay. Uniqueness of families. All of us here, 204 of us here, each one of us has a unique family here. Our strength may be the same. Our roles may be the same, but yet we are all unique as families in our own way. So, and while we are doing this, we have to look at child-centered teaching, which is what we are talking about all the time. It has to be age appropriate and a family-driven culture of learning. So that is why when one of you in the chat box said, I will teach them the mother tongue is becoming important. For children to settle down, mother tongue is becoming very important. Age appropriate, definitely. So when we deal with parents also, we have to actually deal with the remembering the age of the child and what they need to do for the child. Because at every age, while your teaching methodology varies, dealing with children also varies. You will not deal with a 4-year-old like you would deal with a 1-year-old or a 14-year-old or a 40-year-old. So the roles keep changing. The next, please. Now I'm giving you two words, involvement and engagement. Do they mean the same thing? Just an academic question that I wanted to ask you. Do they mean the same thing? And do you feel that there is a difference? Some answers, please. They're not different, okay? Anybody here who feels they're different? Okay, Archana Patnaik, ma'am, you've said it's different. Can you write in a line saying why do you think they are different, please? Yes, a lot of you are saying it's different, not same. Very nice. Why do you think it's different? Would anybody like to unmute and answer? Involvement is to plunge into an action with a child, okay? And what is engagement? Involvement means parents are concerned, okay? But engagement also, we're looking at parent engagement only, no? All right. Academically, involvement and engagement are not the same. There's a very thin line of difference. Involvement is, there is a researcher, a psychologist, a sociologist who've done a lot of work on this. And one gentleman has said that involvement is one-way communication. And engagement is when there is a two-way conversation happening between the adult and the child, parent and the teacher, parent and the school, school and the child, school, various dynamics. So that is why we call it an engagement when two people or two bodies or more than one person is involved. However, for our purpose in schools, our purpose for discussion today, we are using the words interchangeably. But for an academic purpose, there is a slight line of difference between being involved and being engaged. And today we are looking at an engaged parent. An engaged parent will become an involved parent. And an involved parent may not really engage. So that's the slight difference that there is between them. Involvement is totally giving time in 360-degree. Engagement is not 360-degree. Keep them engaged. And all right. Okay. Thank you for all your answers. Can we go to the next? Okay. Now, when we plan a parent engagement program, we are looking at a few things. We are looking at, of course, child development. We are also looking at how to manage the child's behavior. These are all things that you're doing in the school. How to manage the child's behavior, his emotions. Is he able to handle his emotions? Is he able to express his emotions? Is he or she becoming confident? Is able to handle peer pressure, etc., etc., communicating well, bonding with you, and the values that the child is picking up. So it's a holistic thing that we are looking at. Now, in this holistic process is what we are looking at parents to be involved. Because we all know nobody can undo the importance of parent education. So, what is the role of a parental involvement in early childhood education? There's a little circle here. Okay, parent, teacher, student, the three have to be connected for optimization of learning, for optimization of development. Now, how does this help us? It helps us when parents are involved, we are able to extend teaching outside the classroom. If what you've done in your school curriculum or in your school schedule is followed up by the parent in the same way or in a conducive way, it helps. It only makes the learning better. When they are involved, it will become a more positive experience for children. And definitely then it will help them to perform better. And as I have written in a different color, purely to highlight it, it is essential for parents to support learning that happens in preschool settings at home as well. Because if they follow, very often we hear, you are teaching letters in a certain way and parents are teaching letters in a different way in the kindergarten. Just to give you an example. And the child gets confused. So very often, most of the times, you share the methodology with the parents. So they follow the same track. So if they are being supportive, they should know how to be supportive. And that is where your role comes in. To explain to them how to support, because not everybody can really support. Research also tells us that in an involved parent or in an engaged parent, when a parent is helping the child, guiding the child covers up 5 months of additional progress. And I'm not talking about progress only in academics, in everything. Because academic pressure or academic requirement at that age is very little, because everything revolves, everything is interconnected. And so imagine 5 months of progress, provided the parent is engaged in the right way. And of course, different approaches and things. This is research evidence. So I think these are the kind of things that we need to get across to parents if they have to actually help us. Now, when we also talk about parental involvement, now this is when I've written here closing the disadvantage gap. I think there's an error here, and apologies for that. What do I mean by a disadvantage gap? Can somebody explain that to me, please? When we have a few messages on the chat box. What do you mean by when I say closing a disadvantage gap? What do you understand by the word disadvantage? Some answers. I don't know why I'm not able to access my problematic situations. Children not getting attention, not in favor, okay. Use taken for granted, no proper communication. The gap of learning can be a communication gap, generation gap, okay. So when we talk of a disadvantage, are we only talking in terms of a financial gap? Language, yes, ma'am, or no. So when we talk of disadvantage, we are not talking only of a financial gap. Your disadvantage can be in anything. It could be when basically when we say disadvantage, it means that in a class, when there are children who are not getting the same opportunities as the other children in whichever field, it is a disadvantage for the child. It could be an educational opportunity, it could be lack of free time, it could be there's no supervision at home, it could be abuse of any kind, it could be domestic abuse, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, whatever, verbal abuse, which is also thing. It could be a family where there are too many responsibilities. It could be a broken joint family system. It could be some financial troubles in the family. It could be a crisis situation, a trauma. All of these create a disadvantage because the moment the opportunities available are not equal, there is a sense of disadvantage. Now, when we have parents who are engaged in our setup, we help to close this disadvantage. We may not be able to do 100%, but we would definitely be able to close this disadvantage. Now, what is it that stops parents from getting involved? When they themselves don't feel confident, when their resources are low. Now, when I say resources, I'm also talking about maybe a parent lives very far away from school. It's difficult for the parent to come. Or maybe there is no one at home, the parent is not able to get out, maybe both are working, whatever it could be, lack of resources, low literacy levels, lack of infrastructure support. When there's paucity of data, now when I say paucity of data, I simply mean that when there is lack of information that the parent has, the parent does not understand that his involvement can help and how it can help. And of course, when I say low levels of funding, it also refers to the school per se, whether the school wants parents to be involved or not involved. Though a parent body, parent teacher association and parent bodies are mandatory in schools now, but how much their involvement is again varies from school to school and the vision of the school. So these are things that we need to figure out as to why parents are not getting involved. So now, how do you engage parents in the early years? There are two pictures that I've put here. Can any of you interpret these pictures and tell me? The socio-cultural backgrounds affect learning. Yes, ma'am, I completely agree with you. There are two pictures here. Can I have a couple of words for these two pictures? How do you engage parents in early years? What we have to do is we have to help parents to help their children. First picture is love and affection by parents, okay. Parent involvement in learning, all right. Storytelling, quality time with students, all right, thank you. Both pictures, first parent is involved in the child's learning. They are there before mobile phone. Okay. That's a good one. I know. Parents also. I came across a new word the other day. Maybe you know, I'm old school. Fubbing. Have you heard of this word? It means when you are on your mobile phone in the presence of others. So your mobile phone becomes more important than the audience around you or, members around you. So I don't know. I think we have to tell parents now to stop fubbing. All right. Collaborative learning, collaborative. So basically, when we engage parents, we have to engage parents in several activities. But before that, we need to tell the parents how to help their children. Most of the time, they don't know. They'll come back and tell you, Nahi, I was at home. I was seeing my child was studying. My child was sitting at the table. He's done his homework. At home, he does everything, but I don't know what happens to him in school. So these are the common things that we hear from parents. And most of the time, parents are very unsure about how to help their children, how to help their children to be successful in schools. So we have to start with very simple points and tell them how they can go about helping. Can we go to the next slide, please? So we give them simple guidance to parents about how they can support their children. We tell parents, please read with your child. Reading is a crux of everything. But we don't tell them how to go about reading. If they're little children, we can tell them, take a picture book, open it, put your finger under every word, or put your finger under every letter, listen to the sound. Even if your child misses a couple of words, it doesn't, this is very basic. As of course they grow older, and then they'll pick up a book and one day they want to finish the whole book. My child has read the book. Tell them that no, the child needs to read only one page at a time. And one of the best things that works is if there is a little book that they're reading and the child has read some 4 pages, the parent should read the book before. And then tell the parent to tell the child that, all right, today we've read 4 pages. What do you think you're going to read tomorrow? What do you think will happen in this story tomorrow? And a child will give you some story because they have their imagination. All right, tomorrow we are going to see whether your story and this story is right. It's something that works with children. So there are ways of, so give them simple guidances on how they can support their child. We normally tell them, this is not happening, this is not happening, this is not happening, please do something about it. But we need to tell them what to do, what we expect. So, which brings me to the second point where I've said tailoring communications to encourage positive dialogue about learning and development. This in very simple words means to each parent, your suggestion is going to be different. And it has to be told positively. Sometimes you don't want to be positive. You're so irritated with the parent. You're so, we do have those kind of parents also. But at the end of the day, positivity helps. So tell the parent, and it's best to start with a positive thing about the parent, about the child. I'm sure all of you know that. And review regularly whatever instructions or whatever guidance you've given them. Are they following it up or no? Now, one of you have written that parents can opt playway method at home. Now, you see, playway, you have to explain to the parent what is playway. Playway for most parents means मैंने खिलौना दे दिया जी मेरा बच्चा खेल रहा था. That is not playway. When you use playway as a methodology, you must tell the parent, play with your child. Look at these following things. Is the child doing that? Playway, unfortunately, gets understood as giving the child toys and it's happening and that's playway. But believe that's not the playway method. But yes, definitely allow them to engage in play with their children in different ways. Talk, play, jump around, whatever, whatever. Go for walks together. There are various things that can be done. So it's important to get parents involved. Now, there are these some basic things about how to get parents involved. When we talk about this, The first thing is that the parent has to believe that he or she can influence, can support their child. I said lack of confidence earlier. Parents themselves are very underconfident. And a large number of our parents want to give their child the best education which they have not had. And they feel that sending my child to the best school and paying these very fancy fees, I've done my job. Yes, definitely. And it's a huge thing for parents to do it. But they also need to believe that by supporting their child, it's going to better them. And how to support is where your role comes in as teachers. They must also believe and understand how and what to support. That's important. If my child is not able to write properly, and if the teacher has told me to do something in a certain way, then I must believe that I must believe the teacher and do it. And not just turn around and say that it's okay, I'm okay with my child's handwriting being bad. We do have parents like that. Don't pressurize my child, I'm okay with my child's handwriting being bad. This is just an off example that I thought of. Also, so one is that the parent has to believe that they can influence their child positively. The other is the parent also has to understand what to do and believe and understand. So believe, understand. Third, what is the parent's perception of the school? Does the school want me to be involved? Does the teacher want me to be involved? No, maybe the teachers doesn't want me anywhere near that. I'm too so scared of the teacher. Does my child want me to come to school? So these are issues that you have to work out with parents. There are some children, somebody's written, okay, Snehla, the parents don't have time to spend with their own children. They have, ma'am, there will always be parents like that, but not all parents are like that. You know? There are some parents who don't have time for their children. I agree with you. But there are some who do have time for their children. So those who don't have time for their children, let's try and find a via media for them. And this is not today, ma'am. Even when I was growing up, 60 years ago, we had parents even then who didn't have time for their children. We just feel that there are many more now because both parents are working. Okay. But everybody in the class doesn't have parents like that. So what is the parents' perception of the school? Sometimes, parents want to do, but they're a little scared. So these are dynamics that you need to work out. The earlier they get involved, the better it is. Because almost 60 to 70% of the day's time the child is spending at school. The bus, the drop, the pickup, the after school. So in essence, the child is not spending so much time at home. So in that time, I'm sure all of you have heard of quantity versus quality. So what is quality time? Quality time is when you are engaged with your child. You can be engaged with your child for only half an hour. You don't have to spend 4 hours. 4 hours of quantity time versus half an hour of quality time wins. So that is the message that you need to get across to the parents. And of course, the ones who are directly involved with the children always perform better. Now let's look at the first one of them, parenting. When I say parental involvement, parenting. Every parent is parenting their child. We've done it in our time. I'm sure you all are doing it there. Parents are equally responsible. They're busy on their own, avoiding their own child, even if they are not working. All right, ma'am, these are issues, no? That is why today we are talking about parent engagement. But because they don't have time, we can't let them be. We have to change our attitudes also. Now, parenting, when I say parenting, we have to help families to have home environments which support them. Now, how do you do that? You don't go to their homes, isn't it? Check out what is their family routine. Help them to establish a routine. Children work best with routine. So please impress upon them that a routine is important. Routines may go for a 6 on Saturday, Sunday, but Monday to Friday at least have a routine. Parents and us, when we work hard, when we are disciplined, when we value learning, our students also do it. If I take up notebooks and I don't give them back at a certain time regularly, my children are going to say, she takes the notebook, but she doesn't give them back in time. So I have lost out on my own sense of discipline. So we need to model what we expect. Similarly, you have to impress upon parents that if you want children to be disciplined, you need to be disciplined yourselves. You need to show them, instead of, some parents turn around and say, I'm working so hard for you. I go in the morning, I come back at night. I'm earning so much money for you. If I didn't earn the money, you wouldn't be able to go to school. These things don't help. The child has not asked you to earn money. The child doesn't even know this. So you have to explain to the child that instead of that, tell them I'm working hard. Show them the value of the hard work for children to start working themselves. Please, and parents must know that they have to encourage reading, writing. Reading first, writing later, and discussions. A lot of homes don't have discussions. There's one matriarch or patriarch or a dominant role, somebody in the family, and that's followed. Okay, some amount of fear for children is required. That's not the real theory, but yes, they have to listen to someone. Some rules are important, but at the same time, there has to be discussion. It cannot be a autocratic system all the time. It doesn't work in today's society. And they must monitor children's out of school activities even when they're little babies. It's very important. They must monitor, and they should have realistic expectations from their children. So when you talk to parents, please insist on the routine, model the values. These are things that encourage reading, encourage discussions, monitor their activities, and have realistic expressions. Better to, both teachers and parents are equally responsible. Yes, ma'am. Better to talk to parents about child's performance at regular intervals. It really works with some parents. Thank you. I fully agree with you. We go to the next one, ma'am, please. And sometimes to go back to the previous one, parents, you can help them to, join groups to learn about nutrition, to learn about healthcare, to learn about, trauma. I mean, these are things that parents will turn around and tell me, you're telling me my child is stressed. मेरा बच्चा तो मुझे stress देता है. इसको कहाँ से stress हो गया? No, but so you have to explain to them that yes, children do get stressed out. Maybe stress is a very long word. It's a very big word, but yes, they are anxious. There is anxiety in them. So, if they join groups, if you tell them about workshops that are happening, if you tell them, they at least become aware of these things. And of course, you have to handhold them. Learning at home. Now, when they learn at home, our role is to guide parents on how to help them. As I said in the beginning, help parents to help their children. So, on what skills are required? If I'm looking at a 5-year-old, I'm more interested, ma'am, in your child being able to read. If I'm looking at a 7-year-old, the child is reading, let's look at his writing. The child comes to class A, is 8 years old, then now let's look at some other things. Let's look at more of numeracy. Let's look at more of literacy. So whichever skill is required, that is what the child needs, the parent needs to know. My child is 5 years old. My child is not writing. My child is not doing this. It's okay. Let your child first read. So make them aware of what skills are required at which age. Let them know what are your homework policies, what are your submission policies, how to monitor. If I've asked for the book back on a Thursday, please make sure it comes back on Thursday. If it's not coming back, please send a message, whatever your lines of communication are. So, and encourage them to discuss schoolwork at home, not to discuss the teacher. I'll come to that later, but to discuss the work at home. Okay, today you did the rainy day. What did you do about it? What all did you do? What activities did you do? So give them some pointers on what to ask the children. Children go back with these little takeaways. How did you make it? What did you do? Why did you use this color? Give them simple ways of conversing with their children. Believe me, parents, a lot of parents don't even know how to converse with their children, because they're so busy trying to figure out what they have to do, which class they have to go to, and how many marks they have to get, because they have to be better than the neighbor's child. So they've lost out on the art of conversing with their children. You may find what I'm saying very silly, but believe me, this is what is happening. They don't know how to converse with their children. And of course, when they set goals, okay, this time I'm going to finish this book. Let it be a joint goal. Let them get together and settle it. Tell the parent, you don't decide that he has to do so much work. You don't decide that she will complete it. Decide it together. Let the child be involved in the goal setting. And these are things that parents are not aware of. They don't take it seriously. They'll turn around and say, ये तो स्कूल का काम है. नहीं भाई, स्कूल का काम नहीं है, आप भी इसमें इन्वॉल्व होते हैं. So you have to tell them, explain to them that these are simple things. Some of them even turn around and say, silly, silly बातें बताती हैं मैडम. But these things help, They may sound silly, but they help. So learning at home, please guide parents on how to go about it. Let's go to the next one, which is communication. Now, I've written here home to school to home. So that means that your channel of communication from home to school and school to home should be very, very clear. Parent has to know. First of all, it's important to attend PTMs. It's important to attend conferences. It's important to attend workshops. They may not be able to attend all. There will be some जो सारा साल नहीं आएंगे आपके पास. But at least they should know the importance of these things. Now, the ones who have a genuine problem and who are not able to come, please open another line of communication with them. Maybe an email, maybe a text message. आजकल तो वैसे भी WhatsApp ने सबका जीना मुश्किल करा हुआ है, from what I understand. So at least there has to be some line of communication open between the school and the parent and the child. We cannot exist in isolation. It doesn't work then. Because that's when, disadvantaged group, those gaps grow. And this is true not just of children who are not performing well, of children who are not properly adjusted, of children who have emotional issues. These are also children, these are also applicable to children whom we call good children. Does it to bahut acha bachcha hai, finishes all the work in time, there's no problem with him, does everything. You need to look at that also. Every child has to have little degree of naughtiness in him, a little degree of when the child doesn't listen, because that's normal. So, and also keep them aware and tell them in the beginning and periodically that, you will send notices in time, phone calls, newsletters, memos, whatever is your way of communicating to the parent. So keep your lines of communication open. Many schools have parent reps, and we'll come to that. The next we go to volunteering. Now, this is all part of parent involvement. Now, when I say organize, recruit parent help and support, by recruit, I don't mean in terms of recruitment in terms of a monetary issue, but yes, identify people who can help you. It's important to identify people who can help you. You can have a classroom volunteer program. You can have people who can help with teachers, with admin work in the school, with students, with other parents. Some parents are very good at liaising with other parents. Some parents are very good with students. Some parents are very good with office work. So whatever is their strength, and have a rep in your parent rep in your class through whom you can get messages across. Because it may be difficult for you to get across all the time to 40 parents. Individually, yes, but on certain issues, you can always have a parent volunteer. And you can ask parents or school or whichever way, we call it the postcard survey. You send out a little leaflet in the beginning of the year asking for parent details. I think all schools do that. And there's always a little column in that saying, how can you help school? Or what are areas in which you would like to help? So and normally all those files just go into the diary and then they are left. It would help for you to make a little table and know, okay, this parent can help me in this. Some parent might say, I can't help you in anything. I may help you with printing. I may help you with something else. So whichever way. So try and have a talent pool of how your parents of your class can help out. Of course, how you reach out to them, how you collect it, again, will depend on your school policies. But these are things that can be done. It will make your interaction with parents simpler. Then, yet again, I say there will always be parents who will have problems, who will be critical, who will find fault with everything and anything that you do. But there will be parents who will support you. There will be parents in whose lives you will be able to make a difference. So let's look at that. Let's not look at the ones who will criticize and trouble us. They'll always be there. I'm sure you all are aware of the normal probability curve, no? The bell-shaped curve. So we have the two extremes, but let's look at our average. All right, the next one. Decision making. We need to help our parents on how to make decisions. We teach decision making to our children also in little activities. So decision making, yes, it is an active PTA if you have in your school. Sometimes a parent comes to help out, helps you take some decisions. Supposing you're planning a trip outside of school, involve a parent who probably has the resources to go for the trip, is helping you out with something. The parent feels involved. Parent feels involved, the parent will get engaged. So, and of course, there will be some independent members who will work on school reforms and all that. I won't get into all that. And try and have and network with the families and parent reps. If all your parent reps are connected, maybe if there are, 20 sections, if all the 20 parent reps are connected, I'm sure it happens in about 70% of the schools, it is happening. So use these things to your advantage. We go to collaboration. Now, collaboration with the community here I'm talking about. I'm teamwork and all that we anyway talk about. Collaborating with the community. Now, collaborating with the community is extremely important because the school is the community. So when you are taking that talent pool, if you take from there, if you identify and you integrate your resources, there may be one parent who may be able to help you out with flowers. Somebody may be able to help you out with toys, whatever. So those resources that come in, talents that come in, so use them in the best possible manner. Without rubbing. And whatever information you have, disseminate it to the community. If you feel that there is someone who's, conducts very nice dance classes or music classes or taekwondo or karate, and there's so much happening, drama and theater, please keep parents informed. Tell parents to inform you. Give their information out in school. Whoever wants to go and join can join. So you also become a center for disseminating information. And this is one way very good. You disseminate information. You don't have to, you can tell them, please go and speak to them. You're not responsible for it, but you're giving them the information. You already have enough responsibilities. But you can at least pass on the information, but nothing other than that. So, and of course, your summer programs, your vacation schedules, your trips that go out, parents get involved in that. So this way you are collaborating with the community. If there is a theater near your school, you take your children there. Maybe a parent is involved there. Your zoo and all these things, or any way you do, but anything other than that, maybe there is a parent who's a potter. That is again a collaborative activity. There is a parent who's a dancer, has a dance troupe. Let the children see it. Maybe they can have a workshop. You can get the dance troupe to school and they can have a workshop. So all these things add to your collaborative activities and lead to parent engagement, which is what we are talking about. So basically, when we look at parent engagement, this is my favorite picture, which shows parent engagement, happy. So when we are looking at parent engagement, we encourage them to read, we encourage them to get involved with educational activities. They must support homework, help parents on how to help their children. The communication lines with teachers should be open. Everybody, every adult must encourage curiosity. If you encourage curiosity, children are going to encourage curiosity with each other also. Be a role model. And of course, when there are times of crisis, everybody rises to the occasion, which we are all aware of. Let's go to the next one. I quickly want to do some strategies with you. Now, what some of the best parental strategies that you can focus on to get them involved? One, of course, would be, can we go to the next one, ma'am, please? Next slide. Encourage them to attend social events, orientations, workshops. And I know for a fact that schools nowadays are conducting a lot of workshops for parents, whether it is on parenting, whether it is on health, nutrition, whatever. So encourage them to attend. Tell them if we have 6 in a year, at least attend one. If you're not attending, and most schools are putting all the information up on the website, please go to the website, please read. So at least time and again, instead of saying, oh, you didn't come for this, All right, there was a problem, but ma'am, you missed out something, sir. Missed out something, ma'am. Let's do it again. So, at least they get involved. They must find out in the beginning what is your method of communication. They must know. As a teacher, are you looking at emails? Are you looking at WhatsApp messages? Are you looking at phone calls? Are you looking at communicating through the parent rep? Are you looking at, fix an appointment and come and meet me? Whatever is your method of communication, diary entries, whatever it is, parents must be aware of how you are communicating with them and they need to follow that. There will be exceptions that you as a teacher is the best person to decide, but make sure that they know what is your method of communication. And they must learn to ask you what is your method of communication. What you've done in one class may not be the same. So an effort to be made. And you can tell them this, that please find out what is the teacher's method of communication. My method and your method may be very different. Please tell them, encourage them, explain to them why it is important to showcase a positive view at home. Most of the time, our parents do not do this. It is a partnership between teachers and parents. It's a special kind of collaboration that is happening. So, in a special collaboration, when we are looking at engaging them, we're looking at developing their social, emotional, academic skills at home also, they have to give the school a positive. So discussions at home should be positive. You have a problem with me, you have a problem with the teacher, you have a problem with the school. Please come, we will sort it out, but please don't discuss it in front of your child. You may hate the teacher. You may dislike her completely. At least to the child, don't make that clear. Because you are giving out, and this is happening, unfortunately. So please explain to them the pitfalls of not having a positive, showcasing a positive side at school, of school. This is very, very important. And this is something that parents need to know. There will be parents who will have problems. There will be parents who will have 30 things to say about school. You have a problem, please come to us. We will sort it out. We will find out what is it. But do not discuss, make it a dinner table conversation. Do not discuss it in front of children. So, and most of our young parents today don't even understand this, that some things should not be discussed in front of children. It's very unfortunate, but that's reality of today's society. Because a lot of parents think that by discussing everything adult around with children, they're making their children very smart. So we as teachers, we as educators need to explain to them that please attend events, please find out how we are going to communicate, and don't come at the end of the year and say, "Bhai, aapne to mujhe ye bheja nahi, aapne to ye kara nahi." And please showcase a positive view at home. Can the next one, ma'am, please? Encourage reading. I think I've become like a parrot. Everywhere I say this, please encourage reading. Nowadays, there are audio books. You'll have a lot of parents who will say, हमें तो पढ़ना नहीं आता, हम कैसे पढ़ाएं? उनको audio books का concept बताइए. Let them play an audio book. Let the parent and the mother or father parent and the child listen to the audio book. At least listening skill तो बढ़ेगी. We don't listen, no, we only talk. So there are these audio books, if they say that they are not able to read. Yes, ebooks definitely, but then ebooks is again reading. I'm particularly talking about parents who will tell you, but मुझे तो पढ़ना नहीं आता, मैं अपने बच्चे को कैसे पढ़ाऊं? Start with audio books. Gradually, once your child learns to read, the child will read himself or herself. But initially, please encourage them to volunteer for activities. They don't want to volunteer. We discussed volunteering earlier. Tell them how it will help them. If nothing else, I will give you an example of a young parent a few days ago. Again, very busy. She works from 8 in the morning till 10 at night, works on a different time zone, no time for school. For some reason, I was talking to this parent and I said, please at least once go to your child's school. And she volunteered for an activity and she went for this activity. And the happiest person that day was her child at home. Because the child felt so nice, my mother has come to school. It was only for 15 minutes or half an hour or whatever. I'm not sure about the time. So if you can explain to the parent that, you're getting involved is not so much for us. हम तो ऐसे ही काम करेंगे. It is to make your child happy, to make your child feel proud that yes, my mama came, my papa came, or my grandmother came, or whoever is the caregiver in the house. So that is what you need to tell them, that we are asking for volunteers, not because, sometimes they turn around and say, it's a teacher's work, why should I do it? No, it may be the teacher's work, but we want you to get involved purely because we'd like you to make your child feel important. And this is the only way your child can feel, one of the ways in which your child will feel important. Encourage active learning. Now, when I say active learning, getting involved, doing puzzles with them, doing stories with them, things like, instead of saying, I'm on my phone, I gave you this puzzle to do, aap kar lo puzzle. There will come a time when the child will do the puzzle themselves. शुरू में तो आप बैठ जाइए ना उसके साथ. So that's what I'm saying by active learning. Be involved, help them to learn. All right. Let's go to the next one. Am I running out of time? Okay, sorry. All right, I will skip this. We all know how parent involvement helps the school attendance, enhancement, etc. Ma'am, let's go to the next slide. So in a nutshell, what parents need to understand, what you and I also need to understand is that a child's growth and development isn't something that can be scheduled to occur at a specific time. Please explain. We talk about milestones and there's so much comparison. That one's child is jumping 4 steps, mine is doing only 2 steps. Schedules are different. Whether it is at home, in the nursery, or anywhere else. I've written nursery because I was thinking of kindergarten. Children absorb information from their surroundings on an ongoing basis. Tell the parents all the time that they're there, they are absorbing information. You don't know where they are absorbing information. So your role as a parent is very, very important. Children come up with the weirdest of things and then you wonder where they could have heard it. That is why being supportive throughout their progress is essential. Yes, ma'am, I completely agree that children have different learning styles. And if you can get that across to the parents, wonderful, ma'am. It's one of the things that you also need to explain to them. Can the next one, ma'am? Okay, this is a quick case study. I'd like you to just give me a couple of answers for this. A mother of 2 who works full-time, never signs up for any parental activity, is usually not at home when children do their homework. She supports, there's a spelling mistake there, sorry friends. She supports the teacher completely and wants her children to do well. She believes that a good education is one of the most important things for her children. Is this parent involved, engaged, or not? Some answers in the chat box, please. No. Okay. Okay, it's interesting. Everybody says no. All right. I would put it slightly differently. The parent is involved but not engaged. Because the child, she doesn't sign up for any activity. It's usually not at home when the children do homework. So she has to find some via media of helping out. And this is a very common scenario. So these are the kind of parents where you have to further reach out to them. And the next, ma'am. Okay, this is another one. A family of 4, both parents are working, children are 6 and 9, they go to a good public school. Both have full-time jobs, they are unable to volunteer in any school activity. Children do their homework in school. The family has dinner together every night. Parents ask or talk about school, homework every night. They try to attend parent-teacher interactions and keep track of their children's progress via email, message with the school. There aren't too many parents like this, but yes, how would you call this parent? Yes, they're at least involved. They are engaged as much as they can. Despite having busy work schedules, they are still, and here I would say they are spending quality time. As I said earlier, 4 hours of quantity time. 4 hours I've looked after my child. My child has done 4 puzzles while I have done my work. Okay, if there was no way out, I could have done it. But half an hour of sitting with the child and doing the puzzle would be better than 4 hours of quantity time. Okay, so this would be a good scenario. Next, ma'am. Again, a family of 4 working parents, 2 children, 5 and 7. Again, they go to a public school. Parents do not speak English very well, cannot communicate effectively with the teacher, nor help with the children's homework. As they did not receive proper education, they are committed to giving their children the best. The family is very close, and one parent is always home when the children come, and is with them at dinner time. They always talk to their children about the day and support them as far as possible. I think this is a very ideal scenario. And we have a large number of parents like this. And this is where here you can really help. They're already interested in help. Ma'am, the next slide, please. They're already interested in helping their children. So if you can engage them properly, give them pointers, guide them, you would work wonders, because they're trying to do what they can. They don't know what to do. So help them, guide them. So here your role as educators to ensure parent engagement would come in. Some of the roadblocks or some of the hindrances that we see in parents, attitude of staff and families. कुछ नहीं होगा इनका, छोड़ो, हम अपना काम करते हैं, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Logistics issues, lack of skills and information, or lack of skills and information works both ways, for parents and for educators. Sometimes as educators, we are scared to talk to parents. We are underconfident ourselves. When we are underconfident ourselves, the best form is attack is the best form of defense. So let's look at ourselves too. And when there is a disconnect between parent, teacher, and school. One incident has happened and the parent hates the school and the teacher and everybody. But you have to work and bring him around. Let him not be a parent who's only involved in paying the fees and collecting the report card. There's a lot more to it. He's human resource. Okay. So these are some of the roadblocks. What we can help with is our own attitudes, our own positive. And as I said, I took you through a few pointers. All of you know this, but I'm just taking you through it so that you understand that these are simple ways in which you can get the parents involved, get the parents engaged. Because our goal is the same. Your goal and the parents' goal is the same. So we can look at that. We'll go to the next one. Couple of my favorite quotations. Encourage and support your kids because children are apt to live up to what you believe of them. Please tell, sometimes some parents have got unrealistic expectations also. But yes, if you believe in your child, if you're confident in your child, if you support your child, and unconditional support, you've done something wrong, I'll fight for you, provided you don't do it again. That's the kind of unconditional support teachers also sometimes give. Okay. The next one. At the end of the day, the most overwhelming key to a child's success is the positive involvement of parents. And that's what the purpose of this entire thing was. Ma'am, can we close the... Yeah, can we? And I would just like to ask you if you have any questions. I'll try and take them. We will do another session on the different types of parents and how to cope with them. That's a continuation to this, and I will do it soon enough whenever possible, because that would... And what is your one takeaway from today's session? I'd like you to give me a few answers. Thank you for all the thank yous that are coming in, but I'd like one takeaway, please. Is it healthy, or should I say good, to give unconditional support? Yes, ma'am. Unconditional support does not mean कि तुमने किसी का खून किया तो मैं तुम्हें कवर अप करूंगी, नहीं. अगर आपने किसी का मतलब खून किया तो very strong word. You've made a mistake. You will get punished for your mistake, but I'm not taking away my love for you for that. We say, na, you judge the act, but not the child. You've made a mistake. You will get punished for it. You will not repeat it again. But I still love you as much as I loved you earlier. That doesn't mean you become a bad child. That is what is unconditional support. Use talents of parents and encourage curiosity. Yes, please. Even if you can implement 1/4 of one little thing from today's session, I would give the children Speak the truth. Yes, when you give unconditional support, they will speak the truth because they will know that, okay, I am saying I've done this, I'm not going to be judged. Don't lage, I'll get scolded. But at the same time, it's not going to make a difference. With your own children, don't you do that? I'm sure many of you are parents here. Don't you scold your children when they've done something wrong? Do you stop loving them? Or do you stop caring for them? So it should be the same thing with our children in school, isn't it? They're our children. Being supportive towards their progress is very important. I agree with you. Engaging parents. Parents need to grow up first to raise their children. Absolutely, ma'am. That's why I said help parents to help their children. They need to know. They don't know what to do. They think कि भाई हमने बच्चे को स्कूल भेज दिया अब स्कूल सब कुछ करेगा. So you need to tell them how they can help. आपके 40 पेरेंट्स में से even if 20 of them listen to you, you would have made a difference in their lives. Not encouraging them by material gifts. Completely agree with you. Involvement. Parents think that school. Yes, ma'am. That's the problem. Gaining parents' confidence. Yes, Sapna, ma'am, you've written that. Very good. You need to gain the parents' confidence. All active learning, yes. Help parents to grow. Ma'am, if you can help parents to grow, they will automatically become involved. They will automatically become engaged because they will feel confident. They will feel that they are contributing. Don't you feel nice when you feel you've contributed something? When you are appreciated? All of us, no? We like being appreciated. We like being told, oh, you did a great job. We like being told we are good at something. Why not do that with parents also? Partnership will help children progress, encourage reading. They need to change their mindsets. I agree with you, ma'am. And we have to help them change their mindsets. They are not going to change their mindsets overnight, but we have to work on them. We help them to grow. We tell them what to do, and that is what is going to help them to change their mindsets. All right. Thank you so much. If there are any other questions, please feel free to ask. When we assure parents, make the parents grow with their children all over again, yes. Schooling is a collaboration. Absolutely, ma'am. I'm very happy to see your comments. Thank you so much. Positive discussion is very important, yes. Any questions, ma'am? Himani, ma'am, are there any questions in the audience? I think we can take up 5 minutes of questions if there are. And as I said, stop comparing. Yes. Ma'am, they're looking at attendance links. Avantika, Himani, you can post those.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
And as I said, we will definitely do another session on types of parents and how to deal with them. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please write into the group and the team will share the questions with me. All right.
So I don't think anyone has any questions, so we can close the session now.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a good audience. Thank you for always being there, finding time on a Friday evening. Does Friday work better, I think, than Saturday?
I agree. We have better participation on Friday.
Yes. Ma'am, when we do Saturday, we take away their weekend.
Ah,
So we don't want to take away your weekend. We want you
we
to
have
a good weekend.
foundational Fridays at 5. So that FFF, I think F3s,
Yeah.
F cube
And we
works.
can check with them if they would like to do 4 or 5, then depending on what suits them. Maybe in winter. Anyway, I'll leave that to you, whatever you think. So
Excellent
thank you
workshop,
so much.
amazing feedback. Thank you so much, Ruma ma'am. Thank
Thank
you, Avantika, for all the support. And thank you everyone for joining in. Avantika has shared the feedback link in the chat box. Please use that link. We'll also share it in our foundations group. You can take it from there as well, in case you are not able to access it now. So don't worry. And yes, Friday or Saturday, please do allow us till Monday to share the recording and resolve all your queries for the certificates. We will need that kind of time. We have more than 300 participants in the session today. So be patient till by Monday. May rest assured, we will make sure that all certificates are sent. So it might take, technology does take its own time. So allow us also till Monday. Right? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.